thing. I remember when I got rejected from a scholar, I'll just say it's from Bank Negara. I had the lowest self-esteem during 17, 18, 19. I have to go. Until now, I have to go to the airport. I went up to the last stage, and then I think I chickened out during the last stage of the interview. I swear I chickened out though. Hi everyone, this is Trisha. I was in the middle of preparing for my presentation tomorrow, but it hit me with the whole college, uni, scholarship applications, because I have a few people that I know that are currently undergoing that, and it brought me back to one of those days when I had to go there and sit through the application process, which is really stressful. So I felt compelled to make this video for those people. So here's a word of advice for all the SPM leavers out there. I've noted them down very quickly, brainstormed it, and we're just gonna go through it very quickly. Which, number one, I want to say immediately right off the bat, congratulations for making it this far. I think the first thing that I want each and every one of you to do is acknowledge yourself. Acknowledge yourself that you have completed the SPM, you took your SPM, and you've made it to this stage where you're about to make a big decision, which is essentially for your future. And it's really big because it's like one of those moments where you're kind of deciding for yourself finally, or at least in my case, that's what it felt like. Because growing up, all I had been taught was to just follow what my parents believed was best for me. But as I grew older, I realized that true, my parents want the best for me, but actually they don't know what's always best for me. They're humans too, and their knowledge is to the extent of whatever they know or whatever they've been exposed to. And times have changed, and it's important that at this age you're able to decide by yourself. For someone, for example, in my case, I grew up, my parents had to decide sort of everything for me, and I kind of had to follow whatever they wanted me to do. It made me into an adult where I kind of didn't know what I wanted. It was so hard for me to decide what I wanted to eat. That's like baseline. And then when I was at 17, 18, I literally was lost. I was like, what course am I gonna do? And I started applying to so many different courses, which was definitely counterproductive in my opinion. So acknowledge the struggles, but also at the same time acknowledge that you've made it this far and you should be proud of yourself. And I'm proud of you, and I'm proud of the little Trisha as well. The second thing I wrote down here is to block out the noise. In times where it's really stressful, what I mean by noise is essentially the people who are telling you unsolicited advice, or maybe advice that you're seeking for. It can be quoted as noise if you're not aware that maybe what they're telling you, they're actually not wanting it for you, but they kind of want it for them. So in this context, I wouldn't say it's evil eye, but I would just say that sometimes people have biases. That's what I'm trying to say. And when it's biases, people don't realize that it's a bias, because it's a bias for a reason, right? So you need to be able to be very self-aware and aware of your surrounding and differentiate, okay, so this person is coming from a place of fear. This person is coming from a place of their own trauma, or this person is coming from a place of genuine and pure support. Some people, well, at least in my experience, I got so many aunties, uncles, makcik, pakcik, even my parents saying, oh, I should do this, do that. And when I sit down here as a 23-year-old and I look back and I'm like, okay, you know what, actually these people, yeah, they were rooting for me, but at the same time I feel like it came from a place of excitement, because they never were able to do that when they were at my age. So they kind of want me to do that so that I don't miss out on things. But the question is, which leads me to my third point, what is it that you truly want? I think when it comes to this question, it's really difficult. For example, in a context where I grew up in a place where I was never really practicing on what to decide, what would be good for me, what would be bad for me. It all just was in the hands of my parents. So automatically when it came to me, what I want, I just didn't know, because the first thing in my head I would be like, okay, what would mom and dad want me to take, right? So this is some automated thinking that I wasn't aware of at the age of 17, 18, but I'm very well aware of it now at the age of 23, because I went to therapy. And if you're not aware of things like this, best to seek for help and professional help. I think those who are applying for scholarship, college, university, you guys are eligible to sign up for therapy on your own. It does cost a little money. I think that if you're able to, by all means, go seek therapy if you're struggling with automated thinking, like for instance the one that I gave about not knowing what you want for yourself. I think with therapy it will help you really get into the roots of what's really going on, and essentially help with the noise. In another context where you have good support, for instance from your parents or your family, they're just like, okay, just genuine support, but you're still struggling and you don't know what to do, I think it's best to reach out to a counselor or people like your teachers, for instance, experienced friends that are, again, when, like I said, not biased. My final and best solution for answering the question, what do you truly want, is to sit down and journal. You can do some deep shadow journals and learn about yourself, figure out, okay, is this something that I like? Is it just passion? Or is it something that I want to combine into the world of academia, if you know what I mean? Honestly, if you ask me, deep down, I never saw myself going to medicine. If I don't know, I really like designing. I've always seen myself maybe in arts, maybe architecture or interior designing, and maybe took that as a degree. But somehow I was doing okay in academics, so yeah, I went, and here I am in medicine. Never have I ever thought that way, but I still channel that passion for interior designing and I guess, yeah, just creativity in my YouTube, and you can see in my space. I love it very much. So make sure you know how to differentiate between those two, because dia tak semestinya you suka maths you kena buat accountancy. Faham ke? You boleh suka maths, tapi kalau you pandai science, you nak buat medic ke, you nak buat chemical engineering ke, boleh je. Faham ke? Yeah, so jangan fikir macam satu arah je. Don't have tunnel vision. Think broadly. Don't have black and white. Yes, no. Explore the gray area. There's nothing wrong with that. The next thing I also want to talk about is when it comes to scholarship ke, uni ke, college ke, intention is important. And I'm not sure about you, but I came from boarding school, so there was always this, I guess, dilemma between choosing a country and a course. When you dah penat-penat SPM, you are in boarding school, you're in this strict environment, you kind of want to be in a place where you can feel like a little bit of liberty. And when I think of freedom when I was 17, 16, 18, I think, okay, I'm going to go to UK or America, somewhere far away. And especially because growing up, my parents, they were very strict. They were like tiger parenting, and yeah, they were great in their own ways. But again, every parenting style have their own flaws. But in the end, it made me kind of want to be away from them. So I was like, okay, I just want to be very far away from them, and I just don't like whatever they have decided for me. So in that way, I was very gravitating towards, okay, what country do I want to go to study in, and not what do I want to study. And I think that alone is a very wrong start to deciding what you want to choose for your uni, college, or scholarship. So with that being said, if you at all have ever thought of this, for whatever reason it might be, you know my reason, I just told you when I was 16, 17, 18, I think it's time for you to sit down and, betulkan niat balik. Because honestly, you can visit the country anytime, babes. You can visit the country anytime, and it's a different thing. Like, studying in a country versus traveling to a country, in my opinion, are two different things. I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but I've never hated going to the airport so much since the last 5 years, because at 16, that's when it started. I had to fly from KL to JB to my boarding school, and yeah, that was the peak point where I'm like, I hate I hate flying on airplanes because it brings so much of that like sendu and like bittersweet, you know. Sebab macam I have to go. Until now, I have to go to the airport. I have to go. I have to leave. And it's not like I have to go to the airport because I'm gonna have a good time. You know what I mean? What I'm trying to say is that if you're debating between country and course, I have to say my bias here, and it's definitely the course. You should never choose a scholarship or an offer because you want to go to that country, because that's just, in my opinion, just a bit messed up. You should choose the course that you want to study, because at the end of the day, you have to sit through all the exams, the lectures, and the hassle. Having to adapt into the environment is not an easy thing. And I know this is a little bit too soon, but depending on when you're watching this, dealing with rejection is the most difficult thing. I remember when I got rejected from a scholar. I'll just say it's from Bangalore. I went up to the like last stage, and then I think I chickened out during the last stage of the interview. I swear I chickened out though, and I didn't get the scholarship. And I remember when I got back, I was really sad because I didn't plan on wanting Bangalore, but the sadness came because it was like my first ever personal rejection, if that makes sense. Because when you're in high school, tak adalah rejection banyak sangat pun. Do you know what I mean? And Bank Negara is like a big company. So when I was faced with that rejection from Bank Negara, I felt like a slap in my face, you know. I felt like a pie was literally like that. It was also during the pandemic, so I was just like really like yeah. But what I'm trying to say is that if you're dealing with rejection, I hope you know that you're not alone, okay? Even the coolest person you know, okay, the best person you know in that school, the most popular girl in school right now, if you think she has it all, I bet you, I kid you not, she has some form of rejection that you do not know about. So you're not alone. I want you to first know that. And number two, babes, listen, rejection is redirection, for real, okay? If you don't that up, but you just, you know what, you're like, okay, sedih because you work hard already to get that, tapi you tak dapat, but then you're like, okay, fine. And where is this leading me towards? Where is this? Get curious about that. I'm getting goosebumps as I talk about this because I wish I was like that. I wish I was, I don't know, I wish I had this ounce of positivity or someone telling me that like it's okay. Because I remember that time when I didn't get Bank Negara, my mom blew up. She was so mad at me, and she was just very emotional about it. And I remember like, I just didn't have like a good environment when the rejection happened. That's what I'm trying to say. So listen, babes, no, if you're in that environment and no one is cheering for you, I hope you know that I'm proud of you, okay? Because you went through that and you had to deal with that rejection. And I want you to listen to me right now, look at me right now, that this rejection is redirection. Just ask yourself, damn, what is in for me? Something bigger, better is in for me. Even if you don't believe that, it's okay. You will believe it when it happens, okay? But just trust the process. You need to trust yourself. I say this with full passion because I feel like I was the most insecure, I had the lowest self-esteem during 17, 18, 19. I just didn't trust myself. I was just like, okay, what am I applying for? Where am I going? What am I going to study? I just didn't trust myself. And I don't have to be mad. I'm an adult. Okay, I'm gonna center myself. I want you to trust yourself. And I'm gonna say this to my past self. Past Trisha, I forgive you. And I trust you. And I trust my present and my future and my past. You need to trust yourself. I know it's hard, okay? Maybe. If you're being put in such like a low energy, you know, this whole rejection thing, or like not getting what you want. I know it's such a low vibe, but listen, trust yourself, okay? Trust yourself. Like, just something will be in it for you. It may not be the same as that cool girl that you see on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. It's okay, because that's their story. Your story is what's important, and how you want to narrate it going forward is more important than looking backwards, because that is done, sealed, written, full stop. Okay, it's time to grab your pen and trust. Focus on writing that new chapter, babes. You got it. And so with that, I don't know when you're watching this, or when the announcement of the result and everything is coming out. But regardless, I want you to know that you've done your work. Okay, you've already applied. No regrets. Honestly, even though I always tell you girls on my Instagram saying I'm really tired from medicine, but genuinely I have no regrets. I am grateful, even though I'm away from the city, away from whatever I dreamed of when I was 16, 15. You know, I had my own vision board about how I wanted to live my early 20s in university, in college, but I'm like, you know what? I could not have asked for anything better than this, because this is truly a once in a lifetime experience. Like, God forbid, who would have thought I would end up in India? Who? Nobody. Not even me. But I'm here now, and I'm really grateful for the experience and emerging in the culture. And yeah, I mean, I'm still struggling. Okay, medicine ain't easy, girl. I get so tired and overwhelmed and overstimulated really easily, but regardless, I have no regrets. I am very, very grateful. Shukr, alhamdulillah. So I hope that you will feel that way about yourself as well, no matter the outcome. Because truly, there's beauty in every step that you take, in everything that's written for you. Alright, so that's it for the video. I hope I was able to address a thing or two, or if I was a bit too aggressive. I don't think I'm trying to be aggressive. I'm rarely this way, but it's just so much passion, because I struggled the most when I was like around this time. I think it messed up with my mental health the most. And yeah, once again, reach out for help. You're already 18, you're able to sign up for therapy by yourself. In that way, what I'm trying to say is you don't really need parental consent if your parents are against it. Yeah, definitely mental health is very important. My mental health was so badly affected during this time, and I wish I had reached out for help instead of, you know, wallowing in my own misery. Because, girl, listen, misery, it will always be there, but you don't want to be their company, okay? And another thing, worrying is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but it takes you nowhere. So babes, eyes on the prize. Move forward. At the end of the day, what's meant for you will be for you, and I trust you. All the best, good luck, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!